What is going on, Governors? Chisgule here, and oh my goodness, these patch notes are absolutely critical. This is one of the biggest, most important patches into Rise of Kingdoms. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. In this video, we've got so much to talk about. We're going to cruise through the patch notes, and normally, I don't think these are so critical that I even make a video about them necessarily, but these patch notes are game-changing. If you like Rise of Kingdoms guides that help you get value and smash your enemies, consider smashing the subscribe button for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos. We are also a sponsored content creator. So, today in the news, we've got some important stuff to talk about here. First and foremost, Golden Kingdom is coming. This sounds like a single-player Ian's Ballads, kind of like a little boss or dungeon crawler sort of a thing. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that shapes up. Prepare your troops and steel your hearts, for the fate of the Golden Kingdom hangs on every choice that you make. I don't know. It sounds cool. I'm looking forward to it, and I bet there will be some pretty good rewards. We'll cover that as soon as it's available. The new Alliance calendar is available. Cool. We do this in Discord, and we're very detailed at a kingdom level. I'm sure that this in-game coordination function will be very helpful. Soroli Crisis Improvements. Added team skills. Use them wisely to gain an advantage. Okay, so this could work like Ark of Osiris, where you have some energy that accumulates and then you can fire off the skills. But I think it's more likely to be a set of skills that have a cooldown, and if you use them intelligently, you get a big advantage on the battlefield. It doesn't look like they made the bosses harder. It just looks like they've now given us some team skills to use, which is exciting. Added a select target feature to allow governors to shift targets while fighting. So this is kind of cool. I don't know exactly how that'll work, where you can shift from one target to another. Currently, there's not that many targets to shift to, but I guess in the Ack and Hawk fight, there's a couple targets, and maybe this is preparing us, and in fact, I all but guarantee you, this is preparing us for the 5th unrevealed boss and what we might have to do for that. They optimized the enmity mechanism for these fights. So chieftains will now use different logic to pick their targets. Let me explain that. And I'll explain it from the lens of how I've battled, bosses in MMO RPGs, so massively multiplayer online role-playing games, right? A boss accumulates something called threat, typically, and that threat table determines who is going to be hit based on who is the highest threat. Now, usually doing damage to the boss generates the most threat. The taunt effect generates more threat than the next person, typically. And in this case, what they're saying is these threat tables are going to change. So I suspect that this upcoming boss fight we have is going to have us doing stuff that might generate more threat. Or, for instance, it could be that whoever is the lowest health generates the most threat. And instead of using the word threat here, they call it enmity, which, cool, okay? How much does the boss hate you is the idea there. Next up, Ian's Ballads improvements. Added team skills. Okay, probably it's just got a cooldown. You use them. Very cool. And added notifications when you have fallen troops to revive and when the dungeon ends. Okay, so I think the idea there is if your troops die, but other people continue on and they're fighting, you'll get a notification when you can revive them. Arms training improvements. So Arms Master Lohar, card up in the top for when we last did this, is getting 10 new skills. He's going to be much more challenging. I don't know if he'll even be beatable. He'll be so tough. So this is going to be really exciting. It's definitely going to differentiate the absolute top tier of players and their understanding of those mechanics. We'll cover that the second it goes live and go way in depth on that. The UI screens have been adjusted to make them more player-friendly. Amazing. Okay, Lost Kingdom and Past Glory improvements. This is very exciting. Based on your feedback about the Lost Kingdom and other events, we've made the following optimizations. Ethelfled sculptures can no longer be used in Stage 3 of Past Glory. So let me explain that. Stage 3 of Past Glory is where you're turning in sculptures in order to get rewards to rebuild your Crusader fort. Now, you can't use those Ethelfled legendary commander sculptures because you can get 3 of them every day from the expedition shop. using your metals, and they're basically saying like, well, that's kind of like cheesing how that works. I do think we need to get some way to use those metals that's constructive, and some way to use those Ethelfled sculptures that will be constructive would be nice. So we'll see what they do with that. Immigration during Lost Kingdom may cause certain unlocked commanders to become unavailable again. Governors who have assigned such a commander to the garrison before immigrating will need to assign a new one after immigrating. What I think they're saying is that, you know, if I've got Artemisia on my wall for my city, and I migrate to a kingdom that hasn't even done Season 2 of Kingdom versus Kingdom yet, then Artemisia is going to be taken off my wall, and she's going to be also unusable, which makes sense. That's a commander that's not available for that kingdom yet. So if I understand that correctly, that all sounds good. Reduce the chance to encounter ancient ruins and Altar of Darkness, and increased honor points gained from them. This, I think, is a cool change. As much as I liked doing the ancient ruins and the Altar of Darkness, the problem is that you're basically obligated to do them every single time they come up, and it's very time-consuming. It's very intense as a commitment. I guess I have mixed feelings about this. I like fighting at them, but reducing the frequency makes it so it's a little more sane to show up to all of them. I don't know. I don't think that's the change they need to make to that event, quite frankly. I think the change they need to make to that event is that only one alliance should be able to fight in that area from your kingdom at a time. And that, you know, changing over that pass should take a while to do. Like, it's like a 4-hour or 5-hour process. So you can't have all these alliances fighting in that area. Because they made it so that, you know, in the Altar of Darkness and the Ancient Ruins, you can bring only one march at a time, you know, to reduce lag. But then if, you know, 5 alliances all pour in from one kingdom, I mean, now we have a lag problem again, right? So I probably would do that a little differently, but okay. Slightly less frequent is interesting. Reduce the Stalker kill count requirements in order to get the Kingdom History progression. Cool. There's less of them, so you need to, you know, they're reducing in kind the amount that you need to kill in order to progress. That makes sense to me. Barbarian Keep improvements. Notifications will now be displayed when a chieftain appears or is defeated. This is cool because Barbarian Keeps are possibly the best kept secret about Lost Kingdom. Seriously. The best kept secret about Lost Kingdom was that nobody was doing the Barbarian Keeps in your home kingdom, and you just go do them. We'll talk about why that is in just a second, but it's a really big deal. Optimize the rewards screen to make it more intuitive. Cool. Barbarian Keeps have a higher initial level in provinces closer to the center of the map. That kind of doesn't matter for older kingdoms. Equipment attributes optimizations. This is a big, big, big deal. Let me explain. Pendant of the Eternal Night is a legendary drop that increases your skill damage by 5% and reduces your normal attack damage by 2%. And they're making it now just skill damage plus 5%. They're removing the downside. Seems pretty good for a legendary item. We'll have to do some math on this to demonstrate how good that is or isn't. The next is Delane's Amulet. And this is a really powerful item that is highly underestimated in Rise of Kingdoms. Incoming normal attack damage plus 3, that's 3%, and incoming counterattack damage minus 10% is changed to counterattack damage taken minus 5%. So this is a big deal. We have gone from a 10% counterattack damage reduction while increasing the normal attack damage you take to just 5% counterattack damage reduction. This doesn't seem massive. This is massive, massive, massive. Delane's Amulet had a very niche role in Rise of Kingdoms, and we were on the verge of making a video about it, but at this point, it's sort of a moot because now it's changing. But there are situations where, like, look, initially when I saw this, I was like, Delane's Amulet. When would you ever want that? Well, turns out this amulet is outrageously busted good for a couple important things. First and foremost, Let's say I'm using an Attila Takeda rally, and I'm battling into Charles, Martel, and Constantine, which is one of the most common meta defenses against Attila and Takeda. Well, that garrison is going to be doing about half normal attack damage to you and about half counterattack damage to you. So a Delane's Amulet is reducing the amount of damage you're taking significantly. Even though you take more normal attack damage, taking less counterattack damage is a big deal. It's a huge, huge boost to your effectiveness. Oh, but there's more. Let's say you're multi-rallying a flag, okay? Delane's Amulet was life-changing. If you're multi-rallying that Charles Constantine flag, which we did, right? So we used a card up in the top. You want to see multi-rallies on flags. We talk about how to do that better. We launched an Attila Takeda rally, and look, then we also launched a Ramses Esong rally on the same target. Well, guess what? Guess what, people? Guess what? That rally, that Ramses Esong rally, is only taking counterattack damage. So there's no downside from this incoming normal attack damage plus 3%. Okay, unless it's getting swarmed. But if the rally's getting swarmed, you don't care. You're taking like 10% less dead troops in your second rally that's hitting the flag because the only damage they were taking is counterattack damage because the garrison doesn't have any AoE damage. You see what I mean? It's very, very, very powerful. Now it's just all around good. It's easy to understand. Oh, counterattack damage taken, minus 5%. I don't think it's nearly as good as it was, but now it's more universally good. So just making one is a lot better than it was before because unless you already had 2 accessories on a commander, like, hey, taking less damage seems really quite good. Now, how does this compare to Silent Trial? Now that it's just generally good, I think is an interesting question, and we're going to have to do some math to try to figure out what that would look like, but I think that Delane's Amulet has been catastrophically underestimated up until this moment of time, that we now at least are revealing to the world, like, hey, everybody, did you know this was a really good item? And Pendant of the Eternal Night, I don't know, it's legendary. For me, the jury's still out a little bit on this one. If the 5% skill damage, which is very good as a buff, is worth those materials, I think the short answer is if you have no other accessories, yes. If you have other accessories already, maybe not. But that's a pretty top tier item. Let's continue on. Optimize the special effects of casting skills to help governors distinguish their allies and enemies. Okay. Added a customization setting to the troop strength bar display and commander boost notice. Interesting. Okay, you can customize those. Added save a draft feature to the mail system. Kind of an interesting idea. I like that. Optimize the description on the text dismantle screen so that you see what materials you're going to get back before dismantling equipment. That's good. Added a hold and drag marching tutorial. I think that's really nice. The hold and drag marching is really good in this game, but very helpful that they're teaching that to folks. I think a lot of folks probably don't know how to use it. Optimize rally notifications to help governors notice them in time. Huge. This is huge. This is huge. Whether your city's getting rallied or you want to join a rally, I think this is very good. It's changing the look of Olgi Mundok to be more aligned to his historical figure. That's cool. Alliance leaders can now check the coordinates of alliance members. Very handy. Right now, if you want to do that, you have to try to send somebody resources. And then you see where your resource caravan is going and then follow the lines and you can find the player. But this will be much nicer. Fixed a bug that allowed some participants to actively enter the enemy's safe zone in Ark of Osiris. Hilarious. Glad they fixed it. 12-hour peace shields. Bravo. I think they should add a 7-day peace shield, but I like that step. Immigration power cap for immigrants coming to Imperium Kingdoms increased from 25 to 35 million. Holy moly. Kingdom 75 is recruiting. And we want you, if you're 35 million power and under, we are definitely going to set you up with how you can come into the kingdom, join one of the main alliances in Zone 3. Oh, baby. If you are under 35 million power, you should plan to come to Kingdom 75. We got a lot to talk about that. in a future video. You can now enter the achievement wall screen to set up which achievements to display by tapping any achievement icon in your profile. Revised the Mayan Mystery City decoration from epic to legendary. I've got mixed feelings about this. The people that won Osiris League already won a lot of stuff. That said, if you're the best of the best across all realms, should you be rewarded? I think you should. I think you should. So it's a legendary skin. We'll see what those stats are. And we're really going to enjoy watching and casting the Ark of Osiris Invitational. Prolong the duration of all concoctions and elixirs. Oh my gosh. This change was so needed. 1 hour for elixirs. Concoctions are 1 hour. Elixirs are now 30 minutes. I honestly feel like that time should be doubled again, but maybe they'll do that at some point in the future. Optimize the sound effects for some commanders to make them better suit their personality or current environment. I mean, that's cool, but, you know, who's got the sound turned on anyways, right? So I think this update is a very, very big deal. This update will arrive, let's see here, on the 1st of June. So in about a week from now, this will be here, and there'll be a 3-hour downtime. There's one other thing that I think is in this update. And for those of you that make it to the end, you always get the good stuff. There's one other thing in this update that I think is not here. That is definitely going to be in here. And that is new commanders. We are way overdue for new commanders in the Rise of Kingdoms. We are on our 6th Mightiest Governor cycle for Artemisia, which is a lot. That's 2 more than the usual 4, which is unbelievable. So I think we will get some new commanders very, very soon. We'll cover the heck out of that. So if you're interested in watching those videos, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss a thing. And if you don't mind dropping a like on this video if you at all found it helpful, please do that. And drop a comment with what you think about these changes. I think this is one of the most significant patches to hit Rise of Kingdoms in a very, very long time. And I am looking forward to playing this version of the game. Until next time, my friends, you have fun smashing the kingdom.